And we are back live from Whiteland Raceway Park. It is the Indy Karting Challenge. We're through the morning heat races. So now for the morning classes, it's time to go final racing. It'll be 10 minutes plus 2 laps on track now into the tram lines. It is the 206 sportsman category, and they'll go around one more time. No start. That'll give us some time to look through your field and see who the big movers and shakers are going to be. We saw from that heat race earlier this morning an exciting top three and a wild last lap. That was the one I slipped up. I thought we were done, but it was Danny O'Gara coming from third place to secure the pole with an incredible last lap move to take 2 spots and bump the NPG karts out of the way. NPG being a home facility for that karting team, with Billy Vincent running that program. An excellent program we've seen at all levels of racing, and we see here they are second and third starting this race. So O'Gara on the pole, looking to bring the field around.
The thing I'm excited for, we saw the aggression out of O'Gara for a heat win. I can't imagine what we're going to see here for a final.
Certainly going to be one to watch, as the drivers, a relatively large field, cycling around for their second try at the green flag. We'll see if everyone's sorted and the flagger likes what he sees, but the MPG contingent strong there at the front, second, third, fourth, at least all those MPG karts, and O'Gara leading the way of them all. He'll take the final corner, lead them into the tram lines, and we'll get set to take the green flag here for the final of 206 Sportsman.
Way into the final corner here to get to the start zone. Green flag is in the air. O'Gara's going to lead him down here into the first turn. Get a good launch, get a good pull here. He's going to pull away from second just a little bit, get himself a little bit of comfort here. But second is still hot on his heels.
Yeah, it was a great start for O'Gara, but Austin Taylor there with an incredible one as well, as we see fighting behind them. And third on back, a big group fighting, but it is action at the front. Look at that. I believe that's Austin Taylor. That is the 224. That is Austin Taylor making the move to the lead. He'll take the point over Danny O'Gara.
And just about dead sideways, Austin Taylor's going to take that lead. He's going to start to pull it down here, but O'Gara going to try and fight back here as they come into the final corner. Not quite enough run to do anything here on the straightaway. He's going to end up under pressure here from Sears in third.
First lap complete. Austin Taylor from the outside pole will take the point over O'Gara, but third and fourth closing on in. That's Sears over Levin, like you just mentioned, Sheldon, in the top four with a quick breakaway, but a longer race than we saw in the heats, and a lot of action still to come your way. The top four, a healthy advantage over the karts there in P5 on back. That's Elam Stoner over Kason Hendrickson. Titus Roberts up 3 positions on that opening lap, up to P7, but still we have to keep an eye on these top 3. An MPG sandwich with Danny O'Gara right in the middle, and we'll see if he does what he did best this morning, finding a way through to take the victory. A long way to go before we get to talking about that, though. 8.5 minutes on the clock, and the time's starting to dwindle down. 46.6, O'Gara, fastest car on track last time by, still holding P2. And a similar story to what we saw in the heat race, except instead of 3 karts this time, we have 4, 3 of them being MPGs. Danny O'Gara, the lone man out in that 267 machine. So with a nice healthy breakaway, Austin Taylor leads him around.
It's crazy seeing how tight these guys are running down that main straightaway right after the bank corner. You couldn't even fit a piece of paper between them as you see a move start to form there, but not quite from the third place car of Sears. Everything going to be about the same here as we come into the final corner.
He certainly showed a nose, not committing to the move just yet, but looking racy so far. A long way to go in this one. We'll see when the action decides to finally take place. Right now, single file for the top 3 and farther back, and the time still knocking down. Again, O'Gara the fastest last time by 6 thousandths quicker than your leader, as they are nose to tail pushing around this Whiteland facility. Danny O'Gara rocking there in P2. Dalton Sears, we'll see if he makes so slightly. The leaders just throwing down monster laps right now. Austin Taylor 46.1, O'Gara 46.1, 46.6 for Sears. So the leader showing a lot of pace early. It's the top three, then a healthy gap to Elam Stoner in fourth, and then an even bigger gap back to Jordan Le Pen in P5. But the top three nose to tail, and as it stands right now, this will be your fight for the victory unless things change, and they could always change. You never know what's going to happen here in motorsports, especially in karting with karts this close together on track as they cross the stripe this time. Still Austin Taylor, top three, nose to tail, status quo.
I feel like with O'Gara, we're going to see what we saw in that heat where he's going to make a late last couple corners move. I don't see necessarily a whole lot of purpose in, trying to get out there and try to take that spot just yet, especially when, the only flag that counts and really matters for anything is that the money flag when they wave that checkered at the end of it. As you see, Sears try to make a move to the bottom, not able to get enough of a run to make anything of it, going to fall back in line behind O'Gara as they come through the technical section of the corner. They're all still three nose to tail, bumper to bumper. A little bit of contact there.
That time by Dalton Sears. He looked for that move just a couple of laps ago, actually going to fully commit to it this time. Will take over the P2 spot move. Danny O'Gara back to third as Dalton Sears works his way up on track. Austin Taylor still your leader, and just a quick shuffle in the order of the top three, but nonetheless still a wide margin from these karts on back to the rest of your field. We'll keep an eye on these top three as they'll approach lap traffic here soon, but they are full on drafting, trying to take this advantage and run away from the rest of the field. They're doing a good job of it so far. 2.5 seconds back to Jordan Le Pen in P4 as the top three continue to rocket ship away. And this is where we saw Danny O'Gara in the heat race with that last lap move. It was from P3. He managed to get 2 on the last lap. So I'm sure the drivers in front of him know what happened then and want to do anything to keep that from happening again. But O'Gara, definitely a crafty driver on track. We'll have to wait and see. It's still a lot of racing left. 4 minutes on the clock, plus 2 laps when the time runs out. So top three still as they run. It is the 2 MPG karts, and O'Gara losing a bit of touch as Austin Taylor and Sears. But as they fight, Sears looking for a move that corner. That'll bring O'Gara right back into the fray.
Yeah, O'Gara trying to be opportunistic right now. Let these two teammates go out here and race each other hard. Try to get yourself in a position to make a good move to get by both of them at the same time, like we saw earlier. See him just leading the back of the charge with these two at the moment.
And time's continuing to click off. Again, the top three showing good pace. 46 O's there as they continue to run. And P4, I mean, Kaysen Hendrickson worked his way up into that P4 position, I believe. We'll double check on the timing there, but the gap not seeming to be as big as it was. O'Gara falling a little off the back of the wagon. We'll see if he can use the draft and the good pace he has in that 267 machine to run back to the 2 MPG karts in the lead. Cross the stripe this time, 3 minutes to go. More quick laps. Taylor still in front of Sears, in front of O'Gara.
See Sears fade to the top a little bit like he was going to try to make a move. Not quite able to do it as they come down through the straightaway into the bank corner. Right on the rear bumper still of Taylor. Gonna go out there and push his teammate a little bit further away from O'Gara. I think they're trying to build a little bit of a buffer right now.
And they are definitely doing that. Hooked up well. Austin Taylor still leading them strong around. And you see how strong O'Gara is in that last corner. He is on a rocket ship in the last sector. The gap seeming to stretch out in the first half of the lap, but O'Gara closing out the last sector strong puts him right back to the rear bumper of Dalton Sears.
Yeah, O'Gara's absolutely wheeling it to keep up and toe with these guys right now. So they're going to pull away here again on this long straightaway. Man, Yeah, that draft is aggressive in these things. I wasn't expecting that coming in here. That's pretty neat.
Yes, certainly in these 206 categories, especially in the sportsman, a lot of draft to offer. A big chunk of air they're moving out of the way without a lot of power behind it. So with it being a momentum class, every bit of draft is crucial. And you see that as the top two working together beautifully to take off on the field. But O'Gara hanging in there strong, and they continue to extend their advantage over the rest of the field.
What a good battle we have shaping up here with these three. Just a little bit of time left before they start to wave the final flags on this thing.
Yep, so a minute on the clock. When that runs out, we'll see 2 sticks in the air, and yes, O'Gara. I feel like there's a comment coming that he is there and he's looking ready.
Yeah, O'Gara really picked it up there through that sector this time. Was hanging back the past couple of laps on that straightaway. Now he's right up in tow with these two teammates up here at the front. And if you're either one of those two, you're sweating it now because you remember what he did in the heat.
Yep, certainly you're remembering that, and it being Danny O'Gara with the fastest lap last time by is fairly telling of the pace in that machine. So O'Gara looking strong, looking for a way to capitalize on this race, and we'll see a move for the lead there. This is 257 going under Austin Taylor, and he'll stick it at the end of the long straight. So change in the lead as we work around. 10 seconds on the clock. I'm not sure. I think we'll see sticks in the air this time by.
Absolutely, as they come out of the final corner down the back straightaway, leading into that last kink before they get to the checkered the 2 to go flag here. 2 left in this thing. Man, O'Gara is right there too, all over the back of Taylor.
Looking strong, and remember, it wasn't until the white flag flew last time that he got aggressive. So we'll be looking to see the same this race. We'll see what he can do from P3, but he's still got to get through 2 MPG carts. 2 laps left. A little defense offered down the main straight. Taylor to the outside. Not going to stick. He's going to lose 1 to O'Gara. And O'Gara up into P2, now looking for a move on your leader. He'll run an opposite line, try and set himself up for the corner exit. And immediate defense offered, and look, Taylor there to the inside. He'll get under O'Gara. So O'Gara back to 3rd as the action continues to heat up. You see a couple lap carts moving out of the way, but white flag flies, and last lap here, 3 carts in contention. Who's going to take the victory?
I like what O'Gara did there that last lap. Pushed one of the teammates by the other. Sized them up so they'd be side by side through the corner. He could pick one off. Not quite enough run here. A little bit of contact between the leaders, though. Pinched it down to the bottom there, 3 wide.
It's a big pinch between the 2 MPG carts. Austin Taylor taking over the lead again. And look at Garrett to the inside. He'll get both. Down the inside of 2 carts in one corner. O'Gara to the lead. They're fighting last corner, last lap. O'Gara trying to hold the outside. They'll go 3 wide down the straight to the checkered. Who's going to take it? It's going to be O'Gara again. 3rd to 1st. He made 2 moves in one corner, got them both. So O'Gara again with another piece of magic. What a drive from Danny O'Gara, 3rd to 1st, one corner, last lap to take victory here in 206 Sportsman.
Man, that was incredible. Some high IQ.
Amaze me.
Some high IQ moves out of that dude too, because like that move he pulled with 2 to go, pushing Taylor past Sears on that back straightaway, just so you get them, shored up, get them side by side, so they'd have to race it into that corner, so you can get one spot pulled away. That was impressive.
That meant a double dive. Last time in the heat race, we saw him pick them off one by one, but seeing one corner, an opportunity to take 2 carts, and it'd be Danny O'Gara victorious in the 206 Sportsman final. What a race. What a way to finish that one. It was Austin Taylor coming home 2nd. We'll see, maybe missing one driver on the timing screen, but we're reading Dalton Sears in 3rd, Casey Hendricks in 4th, Jordan LePen in 5th. Rounding out your top 5, Titus Roberts. There's a quick replay of the finish. Danny O'Gara taking victory. Blake Martinez finished 7th. Dylan Thomas to P8. And wow, what a photo finish, 2nd and 3rd. But O'Gara victorious. as the kart's already rolling for our next category. 206 Cadet getting ready for their final. Another 10-minute plus 2-lap race coming your way. And as the cars roll up for the warm-up lap, looks like we're going to take one more, possibly getting stopped here on the main straight. Not everyone quite formed up yet, so they'll get rolling, and we'll take one more lap around. That'll give us time to cycle through the field and see who is starting where for 206 Cadet. Off the timing line, it looked like Tate Hall up there in front. Leah Simonellic, I believe Simonellic will be rocking off there on the front row. Diesel Maxwell, Enzo Seiner, Christopher Heinzen, Patrick McNeely, Reagan Hodges, Kyler Hendrickson, and Atreyu Rittenhouse rounding out your field. So drivers getting set for the second attempt at a start here in 206 Cadet, one of our younger categories here on the weekend. These drivers so young in age, but so mature in driving. We'll see what they have to offer us here for the final action in 206 Cadet. So rounding the final corner, drivers back into the tram lines, looking much more formed up and ready to get a race start here. In the cadets, oh, well, not quite. Got red flag. I don't think that's for any on-track incident so much it is to get the drivers formed up and ready. So race control not quite liking what they're seeing as far as the order goes. And that'll be Rittenhouse there on your screen. So the drivers are coming around. We're just trying to get them the starting order. I think we're trying to sort out here on track. So we'll get that all sorted out. As these drivers are young, it is tough to get everybody, formed up and ready to go. But most of the drivers coming through, we'll stop them, get them ordered, and then we'll get going for our final.
Cool thing is, man, you never know. We could be talking about some of these guys, 10, 15 years from now in big cars. Because it all starts
I'm sure
here.
We will. And certainly it does all start here. We've seen so many drivers come out of karting, out of this sprint karting style and go on and do great things. Too many to even count at this point. So it's a great foundation in the base of motorsports. And in my opinion, and I think many others as well, the purest and best form of motorsport. You can't find better racing than here at the kart track. These guys going at it, all based on race ability, less to worry about, no wings, nothing to really brake too hard. You just got 4 tires, an engine, and a few bumpers to use. So a great form of motorsports, great racing action coming your way. It looks like we've got these 206 Cadet karts ready to go. We'll see as they come around. Try again for the start. It's not quite formed up yet, but we have another corner or so to get them all lined up in an order. Out of the last corner, into the tram lines. They'll get set to go for final racing action, and we've got some issues. Not quite ready this time by. We'll give it another go. It's 2 drivers coming together. Not quite sure on who was starting where. Getting hooked together just a bit, so we'll reset, give it another go.
These guys are antsy to get this thing started.
They certainly are, and I want to say third time's a charm, but I think we might already be past our third time. I think we're heading to our 4th try now, so.
Well, let's keep our commentator curse to ourselves here.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun to play around with, though. I mean, if we're on our 4th try, how hard can we curse it? But drivers giving it another go. We'll see this time, hopefully, being the one getting them all set. And I think we've got them ordered before the start line, so maybe we'll be looking for the green flag this time coming to the line. And I think the drivers are ready, the flagger's ready, and we are getting ready to take the green. And
it is, green flag in
we
the
are
air.
racing. Green flag and Diesel Maxwell taking the early lead. Clean start after a bit of a scruff, getting everybody ordered, everybody surviving the first corner in 206 Cadet. So as they work through the first couple of corners, a clean start for most of the field. No incidents so far, so what we like to see, more incidents on the warm-up lap than the first lap of racing action.
Diesel Maxwell off to a good lead here already with Lead Summon-Elik right behind him. Couple kart links advantage for the time being as you see Summon-Elik start to close that gap up as we get into the technical sector of this track. We've seen that be the difference maker the past handful of races.
It definitely has been. It's a fairly quick first sector, just a 180-degree corner, but a very technical last sector with a couple of sweeping corners. The lines deeming your pace basically on the entire lap on the last couple of corners. So everybody having a fairly strong first sector, but it's about who gets through the last sector effectively. And we already see a little bit of a challenge for the lead. Elliott Summon-Elik out there in front being challenged by Diesel Maxwell. Diesel putting the pressure back on to Elliott, who's taken the early advantage in that number 40 machine. Just behind them, Enzo Signer in P3, picking up a spot over Tate Hall. Christopher Heinzen picking up 2 on that opening lap, up to P5. But up front, action closing in quickly as Diesel Maxwell with a nice run on Elliott Summon-Elik.
And Maxwell closing that gap here pretty quick as they come through the first corner.
Yep, and it's only a couple of kart links now as he is the quickest kart on track by about 0.2 of a second over Elliott Summon-Elik. So top 2, the quickest on track. It was a 50.7 for your leader, 50.5 for Diesel, 50.8 for Enzo, and then you have to go back. It's down into the 52s for the rest of the field. So the top 3 quickly establishing their pace and their dominance over the field. A 3.7 second advantage from the leader to P4, so already a big gap, but the top 3 still in contention. You see just the edge of your screen there, Enzo Signer in that number 27 machine hanging on to the back of the lead pack, but it is Elliott Summon-Elik throwing down the lap times, 49.6 to the 49.9 of Diesel, and then it's quickly down into the 50s and 51s behind. So I think the top 2 is where the action is going to be. These 2 so strong and a fair bit quicker than the rest of the field so far, and Diesel Maxwell coming on strong. Was a bit slower last time by 0.3 of a second, but this lap picking up the pace is closing that gap up to Summon-Elik.
Light slide there from Diesel Maxwell in second place. Doesn't seem like it hurt him too much though. But Elliott is kind of in a range all his own when it comes to the second half of the track.
I was just going to point that out. You mentioned earlier it is that second sector, the last couple of corners on this track that make all the difference, and that is where Summon-Elik has been so strong. But a first couple of corners for Diesel have been really strong. He's able to reel that gap back in after losing a bit of ground through the last sector, and now he's through the first sector already up to the rear bumper as Summon-Elik. So while they're running fairly even lap times to each other, the pace is being made on different parts of the track. Summon-Elik very strong to end the lap, but Diesel very, very strong to start the lap. So we'll have to see how this plays out and how that dictates the racing action at the front, as these 2 are the class of the field at the moment, a full second quicker than anybody else on track. So 49.3s for each, still in the 50s for the rest of the field. They are taking off to an early advantage, 4 seconds over the next kart on track. And fastest lap of the race so far, Diesel Maxwell, last time by. But as I said, they are the quickest on track. You have to go back to P4. Reagan Hodges on that last lap, 48.9. And while he's 6 seconds back, setting a lap time that strong, is a good sign for his chances, at the very least for a podium, as he's caught up to the back of Enzo Seiner. We still watch the two leaders on track, but I want to keep an eye on Reagan Hodges, who is starting to find his pace there in P4.
We saw how fast Regan Hodges was in the heat earlier before technical difficulties pulled him out of it, unfortunately. Definitely showing that pace was not a fluke, that they are one of the fastest karts here today.
Yep, certainly. Reagan Hodges, who was the man to beat through 2 laps of the heat race, nobody within contention. He established a 6-second advantage in 2 laps, but had an issue forcing him to retire from that race. Now found himself starting in the back of the field and has already worked his way up to P4 and is working on securing P3 over Enzo Seiner. He's 8 seconds back from the lead, so it's going to be a tough task to get to the front, but I'd expect at least a podium finish based on the pace we've seen so far from Reagan.
I think P3 is definitely in the realm of possibilities for Regan Hodges. As you see, lead Seminelic starting to pull away now from Diesel Maxwell. Diesel was really good a couple laps ago, kind of stalling out now. Seminelic putting on a little bit of a clinic here up at the front.
Well,
with a 1.3 second advantage.
Both in part to Seminelic throwing down the fastest lap of the race last time by at a 48.8, but also Diesel Maxwell falling off the pace just a little bit, only running a 49.5 last lap, 3 tenths off his best lap of the race. So the leader picking up pace, Diesel losing just a bit, will dictate, the gap that we're seeing now on track between the top two as Reagan finally works his way past Enzo Seiner in a slow last couple of laps, trying to get that move done. We'll see with open track how his pace develops for the next 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps remaining in this race.
Pretty calm throughout the field at the moment.
And it is calming down quite rapidly, and Seminelic extending his advantage now out to 2 seconds. And as I said that, Reagan Hodges, keep an eye on him. Fastest lap of the race last time by, 48.8, a tenth quicker than your leader, and going purple on that lap. Still 9.5 seconds back, but he is a fair bit quicker than Diesel there in P2, and Diesel falling farther and farther behind Seminelic. He's now 2 seconds back, 49.5 to a 48.9, so he lost 6 tenths of a second to the leader on that last lap. We'll have to see. There's still a lot of laps left to turn, but it's a big gap and a big ask to see if Reagan can catch up to Diesel. Seminelic has this pretty well under control. All he needs to do is stay steady and maintain that advantage, and he goes purple on that lap, setting the fastest lap of the race. Diesel Maxwell will pick up a bit of pace, still not setting his best lap of the race, but Hodges, a 48.9 on that last lap, matching the pace of the leader, inching slightly closer to Diesel, but Seminelic, the man of the hour.
Hey, what, could you imagine the battle that we would have been able to see if Regan didn't have technical issues in that heat race earlier? Matching lap times, most laps, if not a little bit better than your race leader of Lead Seminelic.
It certainly would have been a great one, and something that I know we would have liked to see, and he definitely would have been hoping on. Unfortunately, his technical difficulties throwing him to the back of the field. Unfortunate break for him in the heat race, forces him down into the scruff to start this one, and it's just too big a gap to make up to the leader unless we see some mistakes, but putting on a strong showing regardless at 48.6 on his own, no draft last time by, fastest lap of the race by over 2 tenths of a second. He is putting in the work there in third as Diesel Maxwell turns his fastest lap of the race, still a bit off the mark of first and third, so a wide spread between the field, 6.5 seconds from second to third, a minute on the clock. I'm not sure there's enough time to close that gap, and we may be pretty well set in our podium aside or save any mistakes in the top 3. But Seminelic closing out his duties, hitting his marks, and it's just a shame we didn't get to see a full-on battle between him and Reagan with the kind of pace Reagan's been showing. Definitely the two class of the field drivers, fastest on track by a wide margin, and that gap is closing. It's closing rapidly, but the laps are dwindling down, so we'll have to see what we have in store as the timer winds down, the laps run out, and here's some action happening in the back of the field, and that would be, I believe, Tate Hall. Actually, no, that's Christopher Heinzen making the move on iTrue Rittenhouse for P8 position on track. So a couple battles happening there and thereabouts around the Whiteland Raceway facility. But at the front, it's Simonelli getting the job done, setting the purple lap that time by as the timer bleeds down to 0. Just a couple of laps remaining, and a big advantage he is enjoying over the rest of the field.
I got to give credit to Diesel Maxwell in second place too. Is a very hard thing to be there in second place and see the leader just absolutely disappear from you, and to not be inclinated to go out there and make try to push way harder than what you're used to and make a mistake and mess up your race and throw yourself from a second place finish all the way to the back of the field. So big pat on the back to Diesel for that. Is running really good, really consistent in second place right now, and that's some weeks that's the most you can ask for.
Yep, certainly. He's just getting the job done. A solid podium position would be an awesome way to finish this race. White flag flying for Simonelli. And with the lap traffic that time by, it loses a bit of pace, but not enough to really make a huge dent in that lead he's established. He's got 4 seconds in change over Diesel Maxwell, and he'll take the final victory circuit around this lap. Lap traffic having a bit of an issue behind him.
Yeah, one in the gravel down here.
Yeah, unfortunate break for one of our drivers further back in the field. That's a tough way to end that one, just a lap short of completing the final. But the man on your screen working through the last couple of corners, white flag flew last time by. This time it'll be checkers, and it will be Liat Simonelli taking victory in the 206 Cadet final here at Whiteland Raceway Park. Double checkers in the air. Simonelli comes home with the victory. It'll be Diesel Maxwell coming home second. A solid run there for the driver in the 141, and an impressive drive from the back of the field up to third for Reagan Hodges.
Man, what a clinic Simonelli put on there. Absolutely dominant from start to finish on that one. You see more guys coming across the line here.
I mean, just as you watch the drivers come across the line, you see how dominant that was from the top 3. That was P4 just crossing the line there. That's P5. So Enzo Seiner coming home 4th. Patrick McNeely finishing 5th. And a last lap pass for Kyler Hendrickson puts him up to P6. Tate Hall, P7. Rittenhouse, P8. Christopher Heinzen down there in P9 with that last lap incident. And that will be a wrap on your 206 Cadet final. A clinic from Liat Simonelli, an impressive recovery drive from Reagan Hodges, and some good racing action. So up next, we'll be looking for your 206 mediums for their final, coming up shortly. Taking to the warm-up lap now, 206 medium on track for their final here this morning at Whiteland Raceway Park. This is the Indy Karting Challenge, brought to you by Kart Chaser, powered by shopakr.com, Coastline Printing, Pride, and Simcraft. Drivers finishing their warm-up lap, warming those tires up, into the tram lines, getting set to take the green flag for their main event here at Whiteland Raceway Park.
Big field here.
And as the drivers pair and pack into the tram lines, we do have a big field taking the green flag, and we are racing here in 206 medium. Evan McCorkdale taking the early advantage over the field. All clean and green so far, no incidents here in the first opening couple of corners, but some good racing action, a couple of moves being made, and there the battle for second, and driver gone way wide. Tried to make that move up to P2, will lose just about 5 or 6 in exchange, still losing spots. It's so hard to get the momentum back in these low-power 206 machines. More of a momentum class, so as soon as you burn any of that, dip a tire, go fully off track like he did, it is such a tough break because that's a lot of work back in front of you. Tried to get one spot, lost too many out of it, but a nice opening lap and a big pack up front as they cross the line for the first time. It'll be Levi Wilbur with the early lead from the outside pole, take the advantage over Evan McCorkdale. Braden Heber up 3 spots, started 6th, up to 3rd with the fastest opening lap of the race. He'll work his way up into the front pack. Braden Johnson P4, Jared Howardson P5, and back there in P6 it is Raider Santos rounding out your front group. It's a nice 6-car pack at the front as the racing action is starting to build here in 206 medium.
Evan McCorkdale all over the rear bumper of Levi Wilbur here. Tight battle right now. 4 cars have a chance at this lead at the moment. Everybody nose to tail. Wasn't expecting quite so much traffic when I said I'd be covering this, but man, this is a welcome sight.
Yeah, it's especially with this class, the seniors, a lot of weight on those karts, not a lot of power, so momentum and draft hugely important for these drivers as you see the field tightly packed as they work their way through the bowl. Still Levi Wilbur leading the charge. Evan McCorkdale hot on his heels. You see the top 3 there, nose to tail, drafting away, trying to establish an advantage and break away from the pack, but it's so hard to get a gap with the amount of draft we see here in the 206 mediums. A pass there for 3rd. That is Braden Johnson over the other Braden Heber dropping 1 spot. We'll see as they cross the line how that cycles through. Johnson over Heber. That'll give the gap up to the leaders just a hair, but the draft will bring them back together. There's still 6 karts tightly in contention for the race win.
First and second starting to walk off a little bit though. Evan McCorkdale and Levi Wilbur pulling away just a smidge from 3rd place. You're going to see him catch back up here by the time they get to the end of the straightaway, but got a feeling it's going to be more of the same when we get back on the technical sector of the track that we've been talking about so much tonight, where the draft don't matter as much.
Certainly, technical sector showing the driver's independent skill regardless of draft, and there you see a big move from Braden Johnson. He'll move Evan McCorkdale out of the way and bring Braden Heber with him. So a big change up there in the front pack will let the draft bring them all back together, but McCorkdale from P2 to P4 in the matter of 1 corner.
That was one heck of a good move for him there. For Johnson.
Johnson with an excellent move, also setting the fastest lap of the race on that lap. On a charge up to the front, he's steadily working his way up towards your leader, Levi Wilbur. We'll look for action here soon, and immediately wasting no time, down to the inside and move Braden Johnson up to lead in 206 medium.
And Braden Johnson up here at the point now. Levi Wilbur falling back to 2nd place. We haven't really talked about Johnson really any at all today, and he is just showing a lot of pace here where it matters in the final.
Yeah, early in this race, an excellent charge, another fastest lap of the race that time by making the move for the lead. So some good racing action, and Braden Johnson on a mission does not want to let the leaders get away. Instead, taking point and leading the big group we have here in 206 medium. Still 6 karts deep as they run front of the pack, but not for long. Levi Wilbur back to the inside.
Oh, Levi Wilbur with a huge charge to the inside of Braden Johnson. He's going to pull the lead away really efficiently here. Everybody kind of calm behind him. A little bit of peeking from 4th place. But nothing going to materialize now as they come down the back straightaway.
Still 6 karts nose to tail. They may pass, they may change order, but draft bringing them all back together. These 6 drivers showing strong And it's all due to this draft in the first couple of opening laps, because Elijah Fox in P7, not in this lead group, was the fastest driver last time by, but he's 3 seconds back from this pack. So if they fight anymore, look for this big group at the front to continue to expand. And we'll see if there's any moves down the end of the long straight. Not yet. The top 4 nose to tail. 5th and 6th, that'd be Jared Howerton and Raider Santos falling back just a bit. And we'll look for any racing action. Everybody content to just push through the last couple of corners and extend that advantage. The top 4 now isolating themselves just a bit over 5th and 6th as they cross the line this time. Still Levi Wilbur leading the charge. McCorkadale setting the fastest lap of the top group, but again, Elijah Fox back there in P7, fastest lap of the race. 3 seconds back from this lead group, but with a strong charge, we'll look for him to steadily close that gap as 5th and 6th, dropping back just a bit from the top 4.
Yeah, right now you can throw these 4 karts under a blanket. Nose to tail still as they come through into the technical sector of the speedway. Looks like we got a little bit of a peak, but nothing yet.
No moves being made, just some nose to tail pushing away from the field. Top 4 is still increasing their gap. They pulled 4/10 on the 2 karts behind them. 46 O's all for the top 4. 46 4s for 5th and 6th, and Elijah Fox another 46 0. So I would love to keep an eye on Elijah Fox. That gap, you can see him just in the background there. It's closing, closing, closing. So if you can start to get some draft assistance, if the leaders fight at all, he may be in contention in this race. We saw a little bit of a fade to the inside there for Heber. Not going to make the move that time. But the top 3 nose to tail, and that is McCorkadale. Set the fastest lap of the race last time by. Just a hair off the leaders now. We'll see the draft slowly bring them back to the lead group. But nose to tail for the top 4. Howerton and Santos falling a bit off of the train, but as soon as Elijah Fox gets there, he'll bring some assistance. A 45.8 for Elijah Fox, slamming down lap times, 3/10 quicker than your leaders. He is on a mission.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of guys trying to make big moves out of this straightaway down into this corner, and not really materialize. Is it just the draft that's making it so hard for these guys to pass down there?
I want to say that the draft is probably helping them get closer, but my guess would be it's not a huge braking zone. It's not a big 180-degree corner. It's more sweeping in a fast-paced corner, so you really have to have a strong run. You can't do it under braking. You have to do it under pure draft. So you have to be well alongside going into the corner, and that's a tough ask with these karts. So it's definitely tough to make passes, but we've seen some good action already today. And we'll continue to see it heat up as leaders will hit lap traffic. We'll see if this affects anything. Nope, the lap traffic is going to get well out of the way. And you see there it is Elijah Fox, still the fastest man on track. A little move, a fade being thrown at the front, nothing fully materializing, and the gap's continuing to expand in 5th and 6th, but Elijah Fox well on his way, still setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Another 4/10 taken out of that lead from the top 3. Even if the top 3 are working together, Elijah Fox still showing some good pace. We'll slow down a little bit that lap with the move being made and put him up to P6. Still work cut out for him if he wants to catch this lead group, but he's only 2.5 seconds off of the lead group. A minute on the clock, a couple laps remaining. We'll see what the end has in store for us.
Yeah, so here's the question, man. We saw Braden Johnson make a crazy move earlier to get to the lead. When are we going to see it again? Because we know he's capable of it. He has not given Wilbur a single second to breathe this entire run since Wilbur got back to the point.
It's a great question. When do you make that final move? When do you decide this is the time to go? And he decides it's now. As we're speaking of it, Braden Johnson to the point. He'll take over the lead of this race. A well-timed question there from Sheldon, and he decides it is now. Now is go time. Racing is picking up. 26 seconds clicking down off of the clock. So any more action at the front, and yes, they are going to fight down the back straight. Action heating up here in 206 medium. They're almost 3 wide through the corner at the end of the long straight, and they are fighting hard. Now we'll see if this will bring Elijah Fox any closer, but they're still side by side through the entire last sector. That'll give a healthy advantage to the top two. We'll come down to the stripes. There'll be 2 to go this time by as the leaders cross the line. Wilbur up to the front, Heber to second, Johnson down to third, McCorkadale to fourth, and again another decent lap for Fox, but a bit of a ways back. 2 laps. We'll have to see a lot of racing from the leaders if he wants a chance, and Wilbur still leading over Heber as the laps continue to click off.
Just a question, what's Heber going to do, man? We haven't seen him up there in second place yet. Up there in a great spot to pounce to try and get this lead from Wilbur, but Wilbur has been so solid this entire race. Hasn't thrown a tire wrong way, hasn't made any big mistakes, no big, upsets or anything out of him.
And they'll hit the white flag this time by. 1 more lap to go. When is the move going to be made? It is Levi Wilbur defending over Braden Heber. Robertson working his way back up to that rear bumper. 3-4 karts in this lead back, looking for a win, and a bit of a sloppy exit there from Heber. That'll give a run to Braden Johnson there in P2, and a defense offered from the leader, Levi Wilbur, to the bottom of the track. This will certainly open up the racing actions. We had in the last couple of corners, there's a move from Johnson up to P2, and look at that, McCorkadale up to third, so Heber losing out a couple of spots. Last corner, last lap, who's going to get it done? And Johnson up to P2, is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it, and Levi Wilbur gonna come home with victory, just barely, side by side as they cross the line, 0.05 of a second. Levi Wilbur taking home victory over Braden Johnson and Evan McCorkadale here in 206 medium. An exciting last lap for sure.
Yeah, that was awesome. Such a cool run Johnson had there at the end to get right back up there side by side with the leader at the flag. That was a cool race.
Yep, great action on that last lap. Elijah Fox, fastest driver of the race, coming home P5. We were looking for him to close down that gap to the leaders from way back. He closes it, but not enough to get to the lead grid. So Wilbur over Johnson, McCorkadale third, Heber fourth, Fox coming on P5. Farther back, it was Raider Santos, Jared Howardson, Dylan Howardson, Brady Sappenfield, and Nicholas Nossman rounding out the top 10. Then you had Gage, Justin Tiano, Albert Eicher Jr., Craig Bowen, Ryan Waldo, Mike Hamaker, and Michael Greenwood rounding out your field. And there's a replay of that photo finish side by side at the line. Look how close that was. Just half a kart advantage for the 06. Levi Wilbur taking home victory. Big thanks to our production team for that great replay as they work through that senior medium finish. Up next, 206 juniors. We saw a lot of opening lap action in the heat race. Will we see the same here in the final? Around about 10 karts going to take the green for this race. We'll see if the action will heat up early, or we'll see another last lap battle like medium. And through the tram lines, getting set to race. We are going here in 206 junior. Yellow flag that time by. We'll go around, give it another go. It's Gabriel Payne leading the field around. Lucian Laser, Evan Patton, Carson Benjamin, Colin Harden, Mason Ward, Nico Santos, and Easton Shores rounds out your 8-kart field. See what it looks like when they get to the green this next time by. Again, it'll be 10 minutes plus 2 laps on the clock here for the final in 206 junior. Into the tram lines, getting set for their start. Everybody packed and ready to get racing. approaching the start line quickly. One of our quicker starts that we have seen. Will they get the green flag this time by? No, I didn't see a green flag. It looked like a no start, but I guess we are racing. Timing says we are, but yep, no green flag, no start. We'll give it one more go as they work around. One more try, a bit fast that time, and that did look quick from our perspective as well. So they just want to nice and slow down to make sure everything runs smoothly on the start, and see if we can get all 8 karts through turn 1 without issue. So give it another try, see if we can slow them down just a little bit and get action going here at Whiteland Raceway Park. And this is the Indy Karting Challenge. 206 Junior getting set to take the green for their final.
Everybody looks to be good now. See how she goes.
Some hand signals being thrown, just trying to get the pack slowed down and formed up. And they'll come crawling around to the start line. This looks much, much better. Actually, they're going to stop them completely, make sure they know we're gonna take this slow. We aren't gonna go ripping full throttle to the start line. We're gonna keep them nice and slowed down, and then we get the green, then we can go racing. They got a little antsy last time, but this one looking much, much better. The flagger getting ready to throw the green, and we are racing. Gabriel Payne, your pole sitter. Will he take the early advantage? That may have been Lucian Laser. They're taking the point. We'll see as they work around to the next couple of corners what it looks like. But all 8 karts so far through the first couple of corners, clean and green. No issues. Much better than the heat race. So everybody going to get their racing action. And already moves being made up there for P2. Racing action heating up here. Yep, completed the move up into P2 for that kart. That is the number 45, Gabriel Payne, in the lead. I believe that was the 61 of Evan Patton going by Lucian Laser for P2. I'll double check that when they cross the line, but early advantage for your leader and then a big group behind.
Yeah, Gabriel Payne really doing a good job stretching himself out to a nice advantage here. Carson Benjamin there in second place now.
That's my apologies. I thought it was Evan Patton, but I didn't even expect Carson Benjamin from 4th up to 2nd, making up 2 spots on that start. An excellent start for the number 98, Carson Benjamin, already up to P2. Is going to start hunting down your leader as they head down the back straight. We'll see if they can catch up to Gabriel Payne. A good opening lap, a quick opening lap for Payne. We'll see if we can continue to drop those lap times and see where they settle out. Again, the first opening laps, very, very important to dictate how the race is going to play out. We have a couple of phases to this race. You have your opening lap, everyone's in a sprint to take off, get those tires up and running, and then everybody settles in. You know, if you're in a pack, you're cruising around in the pack, making sure you're not making any mistakes. And then we get down to the end of the race, a couple of laps left, and we see the action heat up, and the drivers really going at it to see who's going to take victory. So with a nice gap here in the top 3, everyone trying to just lay down some solid laps, bring those tires up to temperature. And 4th and 5th there, that's Evan Patton and Nico Santos working together, see if they can reel in this top group.
Gabriel Payne still with a decent advantage right now, though, over second place Carson Benjamin as they come through the tech center of the track. Not much gains coming from the 98 machine of Carson Benjamin at the moment, as Gabriel Payne is still kind of just sitting on a comfortable advantage, not really pulling, not really losing.
He's certainly turning decent laps, but it is Carson Benjamin there in P2, the man who made up 2 spots on that start up to P2 already. Sets the fastest lap of the race that time by. Times will continue to fall, but good early pace for Benjamin. It's a good sign if he wants to run down the leader, as he appears to be doing. And it looks like we're not going to have a runaway race, because Carson Benjamin on the way trying to catch Gabriel Payne.
Yeah, Carson's slowly starting to work himself in. A little bit closer this time than he was a lap ago. Reeling him in. Big advantage here as they come into the final corner for that last straightaway.
Certainly.
Not
and
much.
Well within draft range now.
Yeah, and you're going to see that advantage just evaporate once they hit the speed section of the track here in a little bit.
So the top 3 all in the low 47s, mid to high 47s for the rest of the fields. Top 3 with the early pace in this race, and was Carson Benjamin again with the fastest lap. starting to reel in your leader. There's a battle 4th, 5th, and 6th. It'll be Patton, Santos, and Ward working together, see if they can reel down the leaders. But the pace is with the top 3 as it stands. Lucian Laser there hanging on in the background, but the man on the mission, Carson Benjamin, fastest kart on track, closing in that advantage well within draft range. He's going to get all that assistance from the blocked air in front from Gabriel Payne. It'll come through this time by. We'll see what the lap times are, but the gap definitely steadily closing bit by bit. Another 10th taken out of that lead that lap for Carson Benjamin. And as he works closer, he'll just get faster, more and more draft. It's going to help him accelerate his closure rate towards your leader.
Yep. Benjamin just a slight bit faster than Payne here. Another lap in a row. That's all it takes. Get a handful of laps like that. Now you see him in the draft range now as they come into the next corner. Right up at the bumper, right in tow with him.
That was a big lap, big gains there for Carson Benjamin. And Lucian Laser making a comeback as well, 46.8. He was the fastest driver of the race so far on that last lap, 46.8. So he's starting to work his way back towards the leaders, and it looks like we're going to have a 3-kart battle when it all settles out. Still a lot of racing left to go, and a lot of quick laps being turned. Again, fastest kart on track, Lucian Laser. Not the best lap of the race. He already had that, but within a 10th of his best and a fair bit quicker than your leaders. 47.3 for Gabriel Payne. He is the slowest of the top 3, and he is in the lead, which is a good sign for good racing action coming your way. Carson Benjamin still there on that rear bumper.
Not able to get close enough to do anything with it just yet, though. You see him slide a little bit wide here. Lose a little bit of time for a second there in that segment. Going to try and get reeled back up to him as we come down to the back half of the track.
And that's an interesting note to point on real quick. I'll let you get back to it. But that big slide, especially in a momentum category, that's going to cost so much time. It's just keeping that roll speed up. That's how you make these karts fast. So any slip-ups like that, and you kill the momentum, the RPM, and it's really, really tough to make up in these low-power categories.
Yeah, not enough power to really power out of the slide, so to speak. See him, he's going to make up that lost time, though, here through the draft section of the track again. Get closed up to him here right before he come back. Going to try it again. See if it comes through a little bit neater, a little bit tidier of a line. Significantly better there. He's going to get a huge advantage now.
Definitely a bit tidier that time. He's going to stay locked on that rear bumper. I'm not sure we're going to see a move being made yet. Still 4 minutes plus 2 laps remaining in this race, so plenty of time to settle it out and pick and choose where exactly you want to make that move for the lead. And last time you mentioned it, when are they going to make that move? Well, that was Braden Robertson, and he did it at the moment you asked the question. So we'll see if we can commentators curse our way into a move here for the lead. But as of right now, Benjamin's still locked on that rear bumper and tailing just behind Lucian Laser. Now into draft range. The leader's just a 10th quicker on that last lap, but keep an eye out for Lucian Laser. If the racing action heats up for the top 2, he'll be there just in the background looking to take advantage.
And Benjamin, a little bit of a bobble again through there, not quite able to capitalize. Really hard for him to get a run right now. These two are so matched in skill level right now. And it's the most annoying feeling as a driver when you got somebody in front of you that's doing exactly everything that you're doing. You can't find that competitive edge that you need because the guy in front of you is getting everything out of it, and so are you.
Yep, you're spot on that point. When you're so evenly matched, it's a tough battle. It's a good mentality for the driver in second place. You're hunting. You're really trying to make up ground, and then if you're in the lead, you're trying to hit your marks and defend. And I have to be honest, I think the defending is much harder. When you have a rabbit in front of you, it makes it so much easier to attack. And yeah, the gap is certainly closing in. We'll see if the move's being made. And that was Benjamin asking for a draft from Lucian Laser behind. Lucian not close enough to offer any assistance to Carson yet, but the gap's still closing. The pace picking up rapidly. Fastest lap of the race for Gabriel Payne, your leader last time by, 46.6. 46.7 for the two drivers behind him, so still under 2 minutes remaining, and it's just steadily closing up. The top 3 inching closer to each other on track.
These two are just they are swapping lap times every lap here. So close, so matched. Such a competitive fight here for the point. Even if it doesn't look like much. Like, even if it doesn't look like much, man, it's because these two are so on par with each other. It's rare that you see that.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, they're so on par with each other, and they are the class of the field, the top three, establishing their advantage over everybody else with some solid lap times, a fair bit quicker than the rest of your field by at least a half second per lap. And Lucian Laser, the fastest of the top three that time by. So he is still working his way closer and closer. A minute on the clock plus 2 minutes remaining. I'm guessing we'll see 3 to go next time by. Which means we're getting close to go time. And when is Carson Benjamin going to make that move for the point? I'm sure he's thinking about having Lucian behind him, wanting to keep it down to a 2-car battle for the lead rather than open up the door for Lucian to make any moves. But Lucian trying to reel in that gap on his own, and it's still inching closer. And I think it'll be 3 to go this time by. So as the laps wind down, we'll see what the lap times look like last time by. Top 3 really evenly matched, but as we say that on screen, the gap visibly closing for Lucian Laser.
Yeah, it's going to be huge this lap, too, because you see Lucian's gotten so close now that he is well within draft range, well within striking distance. Well, not as close as I thought he was, but we got a battle for the lead now. Diving to the inside, Carson Benjamin to the inside of Gabriel Payne, and he's going to snag it away from him. See if Gabriel's going to be able to set him up with an undercut here. Oh, no, Gabriel's going to go off the track.
A little bit of contact between your top two. Benjamin under Payne will get the move done, but a slight bit of contact. Nothing world-ending for Gabriel Payne, but he'll drop just back. And as we said, that 2 sticks in the air, and as soon as they started fighting for the lead, that put Lucian Laser well into the fray. He is up in a P2, 2 laps to decide it, 3 drivers. Who's going to come out on top?
Yeah, Lucian Laser has been so fast this entire stint. Now he's right where he wants to be, second place. He's got somebody lined up right behind him, going to help him a little bit with the draft. Not able to really get a pull on that lead machine of Carson Benjamin, though.
No, and a big advantage for Carson Benjamin with 2 laps to go. Lucian closing that gap down at the end of the straight with the assistance from the draft, but we're coming to the white flag this time by, and no moves offered yet, but 1 lap to go, and there,
Here we go. There it is.
Not enough to make a move yet, but the top 3 nose to tail, white flag in the air.
Oh, Benjamin's going to fight for this as hard as he possibly can. It took him all these laps to get up there and get it. I don't think he's going to give it up as easy.
No, he's definitely not going to give it up easy, but you got to give it to the man in P2. He'll be looking for a move. Lucian's been hunting down this entire race, just trying to catch these 2 leaders. The opportunity has opened up. Only a couple of kart links separate him. Headed on the long back straight. He'll get a big draft here, and then we'll head into the last sector. Only a couple of corners remaining. Who's going to get the job done? Benjamin still leads over Laser is the top 3. Pretty nose to tail, 1 more corner to go. There's about a kart length advantage, and we'll look for a big move there from Gabriel Payne. He'll move back up into P2, but up front, Carson Benjamin, the man who sat P2 most of the race, will come home with victory. Checkered flags in the air. Carson Benjamin takes victory here in 206 Junior. Gabriel Payne comes home second after a strong run, and Lucian Laser holds on to P3. Patton comes home fourth, and we'll see a good battle at the line as Mason Ward picks up a position over Santos to come home fifth. Santos in 6th, Harden in 7th, and Easton Shores rounding out your field in P8. But the story of that race really was the top 3, Benjamin, Payne, Laser, all putting on a clinic, some good racing action, and the fighting blowing up with 2 laps to go. Benjamin taking full advantage, coming home in first place.
Yeah, those 3 were absolutely matched the entire thing.
Strong run, definitely class of the field for those 3, and a lot of good action. Laser getting there on the last lap, not enough to secure himself any higher than 3rd, but a strong run nonetheless. Payne recovering after a little contact will come home, find that 2nd spot, but Benjamin with a past 2 laps to go, no one able to contest. He'll come home as your winner here in 206 Junior. And that'll wrap up our final for that class here at the Indy Karting Challenge. More action coming your way next. 206 Masters up next. And back on track here at Whiteland Raceway Park, the Indy Karting Challenge, bringing you action throughout the day. We're in the midst of our morning finals. We just wrapped up 206 Junior. On track now, your 206 Masters. Lining up into the tram lines, getting set to take the start. 7 karts on track, 7 karts ready to take the green. Here's a view of our start. Green flag in the air, and we are racing. Matt Geist off to an early advantage from the pole. We'll take the lead nice and clean, everybody clean through the first couple of corners. Some action there for third and fourth, but no crashes as of yet. Always a good sign. Everybody making it through clean. Into the bowl we go on the first lap. A couple of passes offered. We'll see the field cycle around and who's got the early pace on this opening lap. Geist with a great start, establishing an early advantage over Troy Tony. Tony sitting there in second. Just a couple of kart lengths separating them as they start to settle into this main event. 10 laps plus 10 minutes plus 2 laps remaining here for our 206 Masters. They'll come to the line. First lap completed. Matt Geist over Troy Tony. Brian Williams making up a position over Palmer Eicher. Jesse Bullock also making up a position up there into P6. And as they work through the top 2, nose to tail on track, J. Brian Williams catching quickly there in third. So another 3 kart breakaway here in 206 Masters. There's 4th and 5th on your track. And then the 6th place kart of Jesse Bullock. Kyle Landon having some sort of issue, not able to complete that lap. As we see karts wind through the final section. Top 3, close to nose to tail, second of Troy Tony, definitely putting the pressure on Matt Geist. Geist still holding the early advantage from the pole to the lead. Streamlined start for him. No issues there. Top 3 breaking away. So work through the bowl, you have to give credit here to J. Brian Williams. Some good early opening pace, 47.5 that lap. It's fastest driver on track, a couple of tenths advantage over your 2 leaders. So he's going to push Troy Tony all the way up to that rear bumper of Matt Geist. And we'll get some action here in 206 Masters. Long way to go, a lot of racing left, but 3 drivers quickly establishing their positions on track with a nice advantage of just over 3 seconds. We'll see what it is this time over the rest of the field. And now almost up to 5 seconds. These drivers taking off, already in the low 47s. Nobody else even hitting the 47s yet. We're seeing mid the 8s for the rest of the field. So the top 3 with the early pace. Easily the quickest drivers on track. And a quick advantage there for Matt Geist. You see he's got several kart links over second and third. Troy Tony with some assistance from J. Brian Williams pushing him down the back straight. Close top 3 back up together, and to me it looks like Matt Geist has a lot of good pace through the opening sector of the track and is able to build a quick advantage, but J. Brian Williams and Troy Tony pushing each other quickly closes that gap to the last sector, and as you see him, Troy Tony closing up that gap, now up to that rear bumper again, setting the fastest lap of the race that time. Now into the 46s, everybody else still in the 48s, so these drivers making their mark on the field early. With a lot of laps left of racing, they've got 6 seconds over the next kart on track. That'd be Palmer Eicher in P4, and you see there the 2 karts of Eicher and Schnettler, P4 and P5, but the top 3 quickly taking to the point.
And Matt Geist looking really strong out here right now. Troy Tony, though, looking like the bane to his existence as well, just as fast. These 2 put on a really good show earlier in their heat. I'm expecting the same thing here tonight, today in the finals.
And as you say that, yeah, Troy Tony definitely looking very, very strong as J. Brian Williams not quite able to match their lap times that time by. So it's the top 2 running away just a little bit. We see J. Brian Williams see if he can build some pace back into that kart, but Troy Tony all over that rear bumper of Matt Geist.
Not going to be able to do much with the draft here as they come into the bend.
And it's a tough early part of the race. You don't want to make too many moves, cost yourself too much time. Trying to run away from the third place of J. Brian Williams in that 75 machine, so they're just going to try and push their way away. But draft being as big as it is here at Whiteland Raceway Park, J. Brian Williams holding on strong, actually setting the fastest lap of the race by a good margin, 0.3 of an advantage for J. Brian Williams. He'll reel quickly back up to the top two, so 3 karts nose to tail for the lead.
This is going to raise the intensity pretty fast. You're having that third kart in line. All 3 of these guys, I mean, heck, one of the best performances we've seen, or one of the best battles that we saw earlier, was these 3 karts in the heat earlier. As you see right now, Troy Tony going to make a bonsai move to take the lead here. Going to get it, too, with ease. And they're side-by-side for second. He's going to move Matt Geist to P2 for the time being. He's got Brian Williams all over his rear end.
And as they work through 4.5 minutes remaining in this race, and the advantage starting to spread out just a little bit thanks to a strong lap from Troy Tony taking the point and making the move on Matt Geist. He'll set a burner of a lap there at 46.7 last time by. So a bit of a change here in the top 3 midway through this race. This is the first time we've seen a bit of action mid-race. Typically, the top 3 have been content to save the battling for the end, but these guys swapping positions mid-race in 206 Masters, and you see a couple of kart links separating each now.
Yeah, everything starting to spread out just a little bit. Troy Tony out here running really good laps. Nice clean racing so far. I've been enjoying this. I was expecting a little bit of chaos here with the karts. I'm happily proven wrong.
Definitely doing a good job. Not too much chaos, just some good racing action as the pace starting to settle out. And you see Troy Tony, he lurked in second for a while, but he is showing the pace he has in that machine. That number 24 setting the fastest lap of the race on his own last time by. No draft, no need. 46.5 for Troy Tony.
That is a good feeling to know that you have a piece of equipment that is that fast. You don't need the advantage from being behind somebody, getting slipstream down the faster end of the track. Just able to do it on your own, out front, in clean air.
And he quickly establishing an advantage. I mean, that gap is just growing, and we're at the point under 3 minutes. If he keeps this up, it's going to be tough for Matt Geist and J. Brian Williams to hang on. He did another 46.5, another best lap of the race. 0.2 quicker than P2, but J. Brian Williams 46.6. If he can get to the rear end of Matt Geist and give him a little assistance in the form of a bump draft, maybe they can start to reel that advantage back in. But as soon as Tony got to the lead, the top 3 spaced out because he is laying down the laps right now.
Yep, absolutely the fastest car on track. See him with the best lap yet again. 46.529 last time by. He's out here qualifying. The rest of these guys are racing.
Exactly, and that's a great feeling to have, especially in a final. If you can just go out there from the lead and treat it as a test session, hit your marks, and another fastest lap of the race there for Troy Tony. He is on a mission, hitting his marks, setting fastest laps, lap after lap. It's going to be a tough ask for Matt Geist to get back to that rear bumper, and the laps are winding down. We're under 2 minutes now, and that advantage is still extending for Troy Tony. So that number 24, with a move midway through the race, feeling he had a strong package under him, he is proving that right now.
Yeah, there's something about car number 24 in Indy, isn't there? or am I just putting that one together myself?
No, but I think you're onto something there. But we'll take a quick look back here in second and third because J. Brian Williams closing up to that rear bumper of Matt Geist. We'll see if they can do anything. Again, they are not quicker than than Troy Tony, but Matt Geist is going to have either some assistance or some battling on his hands. We'll see how the next few corners play out. But J. Brian Williams there to that rear bumper of Matt Geist.
I'd be expecting a battle here. You see how far that layer is pulled away, and you know at the end of the day that the likelihood of you closing that gap working with somebody else is kind of slim to none. I'd be focused on just getting a good battle in here, and you see him shaping them up, taking different angles to the corner to try and build a run out of the corner. And you see it in work here as he gets right up to the rear bumper coming into the last curve. There he is.
Look for a move to the inside, just ever so slightly, and I think we are going to get a battle out of this. because Troy Tony running away with it. And if you had another kart up there with Troy Tony, you can maybe hope for a battle. But with him out there by himself and just hitting his marks, with that the only thing he has to worry about, the chances, like you said, slim to none that these drivers can work their way back with the limited amount of time left in this race. We're going to get 2 to go next time by. But the battle is going to be for second and third, the final couple of podium positions. See that Nugent Motorsport machine of J. Brian Williams going to work on Matt Geist. He set up a crossover for a little bit. He's looking but not quite able to make the move just yet. Timer there on your screen hitting 0. We'll see sticks in the air as they come across the line. We'll see what these last couple of laps have to offer. Another fastest lap from Troy Tony, man. He is just getting it done from the front. No worries for him. Just keep hitting his marks and he'll have a victory here shortly, provided no off-track excursions. But Geist and Williams, that's where the battle is at.
I think that I'm seeing out of Matt Geist, he tries to defend and was not overreacting right there behind him. We know when you know somebody and they're within striking, make it's human nature to go as low as you can, more sure they don't get under you. Matt still really prior to this corner exit, getting a good launch, the limited momentum that that's a dodge zone.
It's definitely heating up. White flag in the air. Troy Tony, no worries out front, but guys, with a lot of pressure from behind, already seen some defending. J. Brian Williams there looking to take advantage and see if he can take home silver in second place out of this race there on your screen. Rounding out the victory tour, last couple of laps, Troy Tony with a dominant performance, taking the lead midway through this race. He'll work his way through the last couple of corners, coming to the checkered flag. An incredible drive for the number 24, Troy Tony. Double checkers in the air, victorious here in 206 Masters. And as they come to the line, a photo finish. Matt Geist able to hold on over J. Brian Williams to round out your podium. What an incredible battle there for second and third, and an incredible drive for Troy Tony. And you can just see the gap they've built over the rest of the field, because those are the top 3 finishers, and still no one has crossed the line for P4. It was BJ Schnettler, and he will indeed come home P4, just a kart length over Palmer Eichert there in P5. 2 more karts across the line, and we'll see how that rounds out. Kyle Landon not able to complete that. He'll come home 7th, but Jesse Bullock, last kart actively on track, coming home P6. Let's talk about that race for a second. And Troy Tony making that move, feeling he had a strong package under him, takes the advantage, runs away with no draft, leaving Matt Geist and J. Brian Williams to wonder both what was going on and to fight and fend for themselves.
Yeah, those guys behind him too, man. They were really good. They were especially good in their heats earlier. J. Brian Williams and Matt Geist really put a big fight to Troy Tony, a couple hours ago when we covered that. But Troy found something, picked something up, learned something, not sure what, but man, he was just gone.
That kart was
like he had rocket fuel in it.
It certainly was a great race for Troy Tony. You saw the IKC schedule there pop up on your screen just for a moment, so you can see all the events here for the Indy Karting Challenge. And that will wrap up your 206 Masters. Good race there at the end for second and third. Up next, fastest category of the morning, KA Senior, when we come back.
Yeah, he was gone. You know it was a good race for somebody when they're celebrating the last lap. Oh.
on track here at Whiteland Raceway Park. This is the Indy Karting Challenge, brought to you by Kart Chaser. A great production team here, giving us all the action. Sheldon and myself, Simon Sykes, will be commentating and giving you coverage of these races. Last final of the morning. It is KA Senior. Green flag is out, and we are racing.
Good clean start here. No real issues. Leader getting away to a decent little advantage.
And as they work through the first couple of corners, we'll check on that camera for you and get you all the angles here around this beautiful Whiteland Raceway Park facility in Indiana, as the leaders are working through the first lap, top two taking a healthy advantage. And already you can see the speed difference from our previous classes. These KA karts really do move. Quite a quick category in the 100cc 2-cycle engines they are running in AJ Lund, quickly establishing advantage. Everything in the order was as they started. No moves being made aside from Casey Perry taking one spot up to 7th. So the starting order is the current running order. AJ Lund over Elijah Fox, Charlie Steins in 3rd, Lane Gibbs 4th, Brayden Rutter 5th, William Finley 6th, Casey Perry 7th, Michael J. Gundolf 8th, Randall Hubble, and then Joshua Nelson rounding out the field. But the early action up at the front as Elijah Fox putting the pressure on AJ Lund.
I expect no less from these two anyway, because they put on one heck of a show earlier in the heats. Both really fast in their qualifiers. I mean, two very talented drivers, and don't count Charlie Steins in 3rd place out either, because he's been really.
And certainly Charlie Steins hanging in there in 3rd place. We'll see what he can do to make his way up to the top two, but the top two content to give each other a bit of draft assistance, see if they can't push their way away from the rest of the field, establish an advantage, and have a 2-kart fight. But I'm sure Charlie Stein's not going to want to let that happen. We'll see the times as they cross the line for lap number 3. And the top 3, all mid-41s. Lane Gibbs back there in 4th at a 41.8. Then the times dip off into the 42. So the top 3, again, where the pace really is being found. The running order is the fastest order on track. Drivers, no other situations like we had earlier with Reagan Hodges starting last but being the fastest driver through the majority of that race. So fastest drivers in this category up at the front. AJ Lund over Elijah Fox. Elijah the fastest driver on track last lap in that New Gen Motorsports machine. That number 01 crossing the line this time by to pick up the pace even more. Charlie Steins working his way back towards the lead. They're into the mid to low 41s now. Steins purple on that lap, mid 41s behind them. So we'll see if we get any fighting action early, or will they be content to sit and ride?
I got a feeling Elijah Fox is going to do everything he can to make AJ Lund sweat. As you see him get real close, I'm coming into the corners. Doing a really good job keeping up with your leader, AJ Lund, right now. I think Elijah's just a little bit better on that, the part that I talk about the most, man, that technical side of the track, where it's real difficult. There's a lot of time to be had and a lot of time to be lost there. And I think Elijah's just a little bit better on that section. And it reflects in the lap times, 100th quicker, literally.
Yeah, it's a close gap between the top 3. The top 3's lap times all separated by 0.03 of a second for Lund, Fox, and Steins. Lane Gibb picking up the pace a little bit there in 4th, but the top 3 extending their advantage out to 3 seconds to P4. Steins trying to work his way to the top 2, but the top 2 working together and running the pace they're running. They're doing a good job out front, trying to turn it into a 2-horse race. Steins wanting to change that mentality, but as I say that, they start racing, and a move offered from Fox. He's not going to get the job done, but he certainly looked to the inside at turn number 1, and that will bring Steins back into contention, well into draft range now, and Steins fastest on that last lap.
Yeah, Steins looking pretty good here, very conservative here at the start as we see a battle for the lead now. Elijah Fox going to pull down to the inside of AJ Lund and get in front of him here.
So action
Really
early.
good move.
They're not waiting around for the last couple of laps. They're going to go and fight. And he saw what the last race had in store. Leader taking off midway through. We'll see if he has the same kind of pace in that machine, if he feels confident enough to take the point and see if he can run away. But the top three, even as can be here midway through this race, still 5 minutes remaining plus 2 laps. And Fox up to the point, but Lund still on his rear bumper, and cannot forget about Charlie Steins there in the 88 machine.
Yeah, Steins is really closing the gap here with those two battling as hard as they have been. You see the battle is still ongoing. AJ Lund all over the rear bumper of Elijah Fox. Elijah going to get a little bit of a drop on him here, though, to come to the last turn.
And to the line this time, a little bit more of an advantage for Elijah Fox, feeling that he has strong pace in that kart. We'll see if he can run away. It's going to be a tough ask, but we saw it in the last race. Will it happen again? Lund and Stein certainly not going to want to let that happen. They'll do anything they can to stay in fighting range for the top three. Still, the 3 on track with a shot at the win. It's 3.5 seconds back to Lane Gibbs in 4th, Braden Rudder in 5th. But the top 3, we're going to keep an eye on them because it could pop off at any moment here.
Yeah, we're starting to get into the later stages of this thing. Just a little under 4 minutes left now. Looks like Elijah's really starting to pull away, though. Just a little bit. Not a whole lot, but starting to put a little bit of gap on second place with AJ Lund. You see Stein starting to creep himself back into the picture a little bit more here, too. Starting to get a little bit closer to P2. Oh, here we go. Lund tried to throw a move down to the bottom. Didn't quite work. Elijah's still going to pull it down into the kink at the end of the straightaway.
And through the last sector of this track, still the top 3, nose to tail, 3 minutes on the clock. Lots of racing action left. Will they make moves now? Will they save it for the last lap? But Elijah Fox showing good pace in that kart. 41.0 that time by. It's pretty dead even between the 3. So while he did make that move to the point, and he is quick, it's not quite enough to run away from the 2 behind him, because there's a lot of pace in those karts as well.
Yeah, they are all packed up now. Oh, big slide for Elijah there. Doesn't lose too much time, able to get the power back down. And you know when you see him, every time I see him come into that corner, they're crossed up like that. I'm expecting the worst to happen.
Definitely, as the action continues to unfold. 3 drivers, 3 karts. Who's going to take the win here in KA Senior? 2 minutes left, and Elijah Fox still holds the advantage over AJ Lund. Now, does Lund have anything to get back to him? Because while he can stay there, we've yet to see him close up enough, in my opinion, to where he could really make a solid move and a solid chance at taking the lead.
I think it's just another case like we saw a little bit ago, man. I think these guys are so equal up here at the top that it's just going to be so hard to make a move, mount a charge. Because, I mean, I guarantee you Elijah's getting everything out of that kart that he possibly can. And I don't know how much more AJ has. He might just be waiting, he might be being patient right now because he knows that he's got 3rd place breathing down his neck. And you also got to wonder what Stein's going to pull here, because we've seen people go from 3rd place all the way up to the lead in one corner once or twice today.
We've seen some great moves.
It's possible.
We can thank Danny O'Gara for that, showing us what's possible here at Whiteland Raceway Park. So certainly opportunities to make passes on the last lap aplenty. 1 minute on the clock, 3 drivers. AJ Lund, fastest lap of the race, that time by. He's back to that rear bumper of Elijah Fox. Will he make a move? Will he hold station? Also, you have to think about Charlie Steins. When is he going to decide to make a move? I'm sure he's waiting for AJ Lund to make the charge, make the first move, see if he can get to the lead, as AJ Lund with a lot of pace under that machine, because if Charlie Steins makes a move now and goes over AJ Lund, that effectively would hand the victory over to Elijah Fox, giving him the space he needs to run away with the victory. So Charlie Steins playing it smart, and AJ Lund putting the pressure on.
Yeah, Lund all over the back of Elijah Fox now as they come through, looks like the uphill section. These guys just, all three of them are just so good, man. It's hard. Like, I couldn't tell you right now who's going to win this thing. Like, I know Elijah's up there leading a lot of laps, but AJ has been so fast and Steins has been so fast all morning, too.
If I had to play the prediction game right now, Elijah Fox sitting in the catbird seat. While he does have a lot of pressure from behind, he's shown incredible pace out of the 01 machine, and will hit 2 to go at the stripe this time by. He's got a couple of kart links over AJ Lund and Charlie Steins. Will they close in enough to make a strong attempt at taking that lead away? You see a really strong first couple of corners there for AJ Lund. He'll close right up to the back of Elijah Fox. He's going to have a run down the back straight. Will he do it this time? Big run. Defense offered, but even lower. AJ Lund down the inside. To the point. AJ Lund, your new leader.
There we go, but here comes Elijah Fox, charging back on the bottom, hit him with the crossover. He's going to take the lead back as quick as AJ Lund got it. And now Steins is all over the back of both of them.
Yeah, and headed to the white flag this time. Action already popping off. Elijah Fox got past, didn't want to give it up for too long immediately. The next corner fires it back under AJ Lund, takes the point back, but that's 3 karts, 1 lap to go. Action heating up. Defense offered in to turn number 3 and into the bowl.
Here we go
it's maybe
again.
The first time we've seen a move here this race, and the 3 of them all side by side. Who knows what it's going to turn out as Charlie Steins down the inside. Look at there, Elijah Fox on the crossover trying to get to the outside. He'll drop to 3rd, 1 corner to go, and who's going to get it done? Big defense offered down the inside. He's going to park it on the exit. Down to the
here comes Steins.
Checkers in the air, a photo finish, and AJ Lund by 1/100th of a second, and crashing after the line will take victory. Oh, they pushed so hard for that last lap. 3 karts, all going at it. Some great action, and AJ Lund finds his way to the point to take victory here in KA Senior. Charlie Steins with a close run, just 100th off, will come home second, and Elijah Fox rounds out that fun battle to come home 3rd after leading a majority of the race. Farther back, it was Lane Gibbs, Braden Rudder, Casey Perry, Blake Henley, Michael J. Gundolf, Randall Hubble, and Joshua Nelson to round out that field. But great action there at the front. 3 drivers, leaving nothing left at the end of that one, going for the win in the 43 of AJ Lund, coming home with the victory.
Yeah, I told you, don't count out Steins, and he all but had it there.
Yeah, he was certainly close. I mean, what a finish. This is maybe the best we've seen so far today, but there's plenty of action still to come. So the KA Senior wrapped up here. It is time to let the kid karts go and rip around Whiteland Raceway Park. They're going to have a 10-minute practice followed by a 6-lap heat race. And then we'll go into our warm-ups for our afternoon categories, followed by qualifying at 2 p.m. for those, and then heat racing and final racing action. Within those afternoon categories, we also be featuring the Purdue GP here today at the Indy Karting Challenge. So stay with us. We'll be back here shortly.
Can I come through here?
Welcome back live here from Whiteland Raceway Park. This is the Indy Karting Challenge, brought to you by Kart Chaser. On track now, Kit Kart's out for their heat race. 6 laps set to go. They just got done with their practice shortly before, and Kart's already spreading out and getting running. 5 laps left on the board. Bo Laser in that number 8 machine, taking off with a rocket ship of a first lap, 44.4 on this shortened configuration, running backwards through the bowl. So a bit of a different configuration than we've seen all morning for this Kit Kart class. It is Sophia Wilfong there in P2, James Geist in P3, Apollo Rittenhouse in P4, and Jaeun Jung there in 5th. So as they work through, we'll get a new look at the layout here for the Kit Kart classes, and Bo Laser laying down the laps, picking up rapidly, down to a 41.5 already. Next quickest on track, 45.9. And the laps continue to cycle, down to 4 laps to go. Bo Laser still off, marching out front, a bit spread out for this 5-kart field here for Kit Karts, getting their racing in for their heat race today. Their final will be coming up later, just after our warm-ups at the end of our afternoon warm-up session. 1:57 is the scheduled time for the Kit Kart final, and this will set the grid for them as they work through this heat race. The Laser looking strong out front, out 12 seconds over Sophia Wilfong there in P2. And then it's James Geist coming across third. Big gaps throughout the field so far here in Kit Karts. Laps continue to cycle. Another lap complete there for Bo. Rocking solid in the 41s. 41.5 is his best. 41.9 last time by. Still a healthy advantage over the rest of the field. 45s for Sophia. And then on down for the rest of the field. Jaeun Young sitting there in P5. Actually running the second quickest laps of the race so far. See what he has this time by. Just a bit far back as it stands, but nobody has anything for Bo Laser at this point. He is off and running strong here early. Final lap of the race. Bo Laser, consistent in the 41-42 range. Definitely the strongest driver here so far in the Kit Kart category. So he will work through the last lap and see the checkered flag this next time by. 19 seconds his lead over Sophia Wilfong. So you can see him there going through the middle, catching some lap traffic here and there. Steadily working his way through, trying to make a clean move past some of the other karts. Bit of an issue there, but he'll work through the last corner and come to take the checkered flag. Checkers in the air. Bo Laser, your winner here in Kit Karts. And as they continue to finish, see where everyone lines up. Sophia Wilfong coming home P2. Strong run for her there in the number 4 machine. And it was Apollo Rittenhouse. Actually, James Geist still on the lead lap. He'll come across third. Apollo Rittenhouse and then Jaeun Jung rounding out your field here in Kit Karts. They will work their way off of track. That was their heat race. Like I said, 1:57, their final. Up next will be the warm-ups for our afternoon classes. Sit back and enjoy that coverage. We'll be back to pick up the Kit Kart final and into qualifying for our afternoon classes.
year when I did literally every